Hey, yo, what's going on, y'all? It's the big man, Big Oso. I'm actually off work right now. I'm actually on my way home. I gotta be right back at 7:30. But I wanted to share some with y'all. I'm actually gonna put this on my YouTube. I made a YouTube page like months ago, and I ain't really done nothing with it. But I want to do some different stuff. I actually want to put some content. As a lot of you guys know, I really been I don't know. I don't know really how to explain it in a good light, but I mean, I've really been learning a lot of stuff as of late. I feel like ever since, like, when I left Illinois back in 2020 to move down here to Texas, I felt, as a black man, I felt as if, I don't know how really to explain it. Like, I knew a lot of stuff about us as people. And I knew a lot of stuff about us as, as a collective people. And, we've been seeing a lot of stuff going on as of late. We've been seeing the whole Ye situation, and I've said a lot of stuff about that. We've seen Kyrie, and, he's in the midst and everything. But I think the one thing that I really want to talk about that's, that I want to speak, and before I start to drive off home, obviously I'm going to be paying attention to the road, so you ain't got to trip about that. But I wanted to read a Bible verse, and I wanted to kind of elaborate as I go home, maybe for like the next 15 minutes or so, to kind of really sit and, explain to you guys and talk to you guys about a lot of, what this verse means and why I'm bringing this up. So if I can read to you guys right quick, I want to read Psalm 82, the entire Psalm of 82, which is 8 verses. And it goes a little bit like this. And this is from the King James Version. I read from the King James Version. Sometimes if I don't understand stuff, I'll go to the NIV to kind of, if I don't understand it, to kind of how to put it in English to where I can understand it. But King James really is the way to go. But so Psalm 82 sounds a little bit like this. It goes, God standeth in the congregation of the mighty. He judges among the gods. How long will ye judge unjustly and accept the persons of the wicked? Salah. Defend the poor and the fatherless. Do justice to the afflicted and the needy. Deliver the poor and needy. Rid them out of the hand and the wicked. They know not, neither will they understand. They walk on in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are out of course. I have said, ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. But ye shall die like men, and fall like one of the princes. Arise, O God, judge the earth, for thou shalt inherit all nations. And right now, as I drive home, I want to pray to God that, I make it home in one piece, and I hope that what I can say makes sense, and that maybe my message can really do some good, man, because a lot of y'all know that I talk a lot of sports all the time, and that's usually what my podcasts have always been on, especially when I was in Illinois. But man, it's a lot of things going on, and I feel like we at a time right now where we got to really start looking our eyes, man, because especially we as black people, man. It's funny because you see a lot of these videos nowadays, whether, you're on YouTube or whether it be Facebook or YouTube or Instagram or whatever, TikTok, whatever it might be, we watch reels, we watch in the Facebook vortex, we watch TikToks, we do all that stuff. And a lot of white people have come out and have talked almost to a point to where they're blue in the face about the power that black people have and the power that we have and what black people really mean to this earth, and that we're more than just niggas and hopeless causes, because that's a lot of times what they kind of portray us as, is that we lost causes and we ain't never gonna figure out. And what kind of bothers me is there's a lot of people that always talk about black unity, but these the same people that's out here, you know, promoting the genocide of black people. That's basically what rap has become. Rap has now become the genocide of black people. Boosie said it best recently. He goes, you know, rappers used to be heroes, but now we targets. Because there used to be a time, like, I have a good friend, his name is Darnell. When we used to work back in the day, he used to tell me that Joe Budden, he thought, was the best rapper in the game. Now, I thought he was way off. But to his credit, he explained to me, he said, yo, Big Nick, you know, when Joe rap, he rap about a lot of things that I understand, like I understand what he's going through, so I can relate to it. And I respect that. And that's what rap used to be. You used to be able to, you know, everybody had their own story, but there's people out there that can understand your story, so they can understand, you know, when you know, speak, you know, they know, you know, when you know, my bad, I lost my train of thought, but you get what I'm saying though, right? So then shout out to my buddy Q, because, you know, we talk like we work together, and this kind of stuff that I've been talking about, especially when it comes to the government, when it comes to rap music, this is stuff I've been talking about for a long time. I've been made fun of. I've been called every name in the book. You know, I've been called everything. But the one thing I've never been called was a god, because you see, when I was in school, I'm gonna take my head off because it keeps hitting the thing, and okay, I'm balding. What do you want me to do? But I've never been called a god, because see, when I was in church, being called a god or reference to a god when I was in church was blasphemous, and that's how I took it. So when black people, specifically black people, they're the only ones that speak like this. When they say we are gods, they don't mean like bow to me, listen to me, you know, I run everything. That's not how we say that. When we say we are gods, that means that we, again, are just more than just niggas. What more than that? God put black, like, it's a lot of proof out there that black folks was actually the first people in this world. You know, we the first people. And so that's one of the reasons why I've always believed that Jesus was black. You know, I've always believed Jesus was black, because according to the Bible says he was born with hair like sheep's wool, and have dark limbs. Well, that's describing us. Like, I know I ain't got hair like sheep's wool no more, but those that have known me since the beginning, I used to have a little fro, nappy as ever, but that's hair like sheep's wool. So you can't tell me nothing. So I've always believed that Jesus was black. Like, I don't sit here and go through the motions and be like, oh man, I can't praise no white Jesus. Why I go to a church that praise the white Jesus? Like, I don't do all that. But I believe Jesus was black, and until I go to the grave, I'm always gonna believe that Jesus was black. So when I believe that, and then I hear we are gods, I always used to, like I said, I used to be like, man, that sounds blasphemous. And then earlier today, I was listening to the minister, Mr. Louis Farrakhan, and Farrakhan was kind of giving his thoughts about the Kyrie situation and the Ye situation and all that stuff that's going on. And the one thing that he said that made me go back, that made me Google and be like, yo, where is this in the Bible? Because I keep hearing it, but I you know, I'm not as great as some of my former companions that I used to go to church with. These guys are great with the Bible. You can say one small verse and they know, or they say one small line, they can tell you the whole verse and what the verse is. I ain't that great. So when I go to Google and I look on Google and it tells me, okay, look at Psalm 82, I look at where it says, I look at the point where it says, and I said, ye are gods. But hold on a second, I got to read the whole verse. Because, I'm the advocate of always being like, yo, I need, like, don't take the piece of what's said. I need the context of everything. Don't give me the piece of the convo. I need the whole convo. So I don't want the piece of the verse. Give me the whole verse. And when I just read that whole verse, basically, that's what Jesus is telling us. He's saying, hold on a second. He's saying, how long y'all gonna sit in here and stand up for this foolishness? That's not what I brought you on this earth for. That's not what I brought you on this earth for. And by me speaking this right now, I try to say this to my black peoples, because I've always said that one of the worst things, I'm sorry, it's dark, I'm going through a dark spot right now, but one of the things I've always said is that world star hip hop is one of the worst things that could ever happen to black people. World star hip hop is one of the worst things that could ever happen to black people, because we didn't take world star hip hop and use it as like, all right, here's a young brother coming up that has some real good flows, that's not talking about the genocide of black people. Here's a young female artist out here, a young black woman artist out here that's got vocal cords, that's not singing about, giving up the play to the dudes in the song, and how wet my coo is, and all this other nonsense that's in these songs nowadays. That's not what we're not supposed to be out here backing this stuff. That's not what we're supposed to be doing. And that's where that verse says, it says, I didn't put you on this earth to defend this foolishness. I need you to defend the poor and the fatherless. That's why there's all this bashing on single mamas. And yeah, some single moms need to take L's, and yeah, they choose some not so great partners. But yo, that don't mean you drag them through the mud. And we gotta stop. And see, this is why I never rag on women. I always get on men. I do get on women sometimes, but I get on us as men, because now I'm really gonna get on us. Because we just not niggas. Yo, we really kings and gods. According to the Bible, we are really gods. We're not out here supposed to be rapping about the genocide of black folks and the raping of women. We're out here supposed to be uplifting us and building us to a better future. We, as the middle-aged G's, need to really get into these young G's. We gotta think about it like this. I was telling this to Q earlier. What is the one thing, and I'm 39, I'll be 40 in June, but what's the number one thing that has always been depicted in us as young black people, as when we grow up, is you never disrespect your elders? That was the number one thing, is you never disrespect your elders. I remember one time with some young man, I'm not gonna call him an idiot no more, but a young man vandalized my mom's school bus when we were living in Indian Oaks at the time. And I was upset. I was very upset about it, because I was like, man, why somebody vandalize my bus? Make a long story short, my sister heard me yelling. She came outside. She's like, what's the matter? And I told her what happened, blah, blah, blah. An older gentleman, an elder to me, to everybody, he was an OG, was like, man, these young kids coming in, they don't even live out here no more, this and that. And they walking around with their pants down, and they go, man, look at this guy. He don't even live over here. Young man was sagging, and I wish black people stop sagging, because sagging backwards is niggas. Since when, hey, let me, before I get back to that story, let me ask you a question. Since when did the jail culture all of a sudden become hip-hop culture? Do you not know what sagging means? Hey, my mom worked at State Field for 25 years. You want to know the one thing that I have never done in the 40 years that I've been black is sag? My parents never taught me that mess. They never taught me that mess. So ultimately, my thing is, so back to my story, back to what I was saying, so the young man tried to check the OG. And my sister, without even missing a beat, told old boy to hold his tongue. She told him, hey man, watch your mouth. That's an elder. You respect your elders. And why is that? Why is it that we as black folks are always known to respect your elders, because we as black people, according to the Bible, are gods. We do not respect the elder gods. They're not just our elders. Those are elder gods. The grandmamas, big mama, granddad if you had one. I never knew none of my grandfathers. My father was my OG. My father was my elder god. When I needed an older male figure, my dad was my elder god. Have you guys ever noticed that when I speak about my father, that I always smile because my dad's my elder god? And it's no disrespect. It's nothing, taking nothing away from my mom. I don't disrespect my mother either. But as a young black man, the father, that son-father connection is so strong sometimes. That's why these black men need to stop leaving these black mamas out here with single kids. The moms should not be out. Moms cannot play the role of mom and dad. And the single moms out there need to stop with that mess. Because you're not playing the role of mom and dad. You're only playing the role as mom. You can't play the role of king and queen. You can only be queen. Nowhere in the Bible does it say that. So you can't take that. You can be the queen. You can't be the king as well. You can't be the mom and the dad. You can just be the best mama you are. That's why I take such offense when moms do that whole, well, I'm going to celebrate on Father's Day too. No, you keep your, what's the word I'm looking for? Bitter ass over there with that nonsense. No. You stay over there with that. Because you can't be a king and a queen. You can either be a king or you can be a queen. And in the Bible, it says that we are gods. So I couldn't disrespect any of my elders because that's disrespecting an elder God. And I always have fear that if I disrespect my elders, then the one God that speaks through us as gods, as vessels, so we can speak the prophecies and the words to the people, I can't disrespect that. And that's why we as black folks, we are always, that's why you ever notice, and I don't know how it is down south, and that's another conversation for another day, but for up north, yo, that's an automatic mouth shot. That's on sight. You disrespect. Let a young kid disrespect his grandmama out in the street. Let a young man disrespect his grandmama with a bunch of people my age on the street. That young man will never see. His whole mouth would be sideways, because that's an automatic mouth shut. You don't disrespect the elders. You don't disrespect the elder gods. They're gods. They're not just elders. Once they hit that age, they become elder gods. The wisdom that they still have can still be bestowed upon us. We cannot disrespect those that are bringing the knowledge to us. That's why we as black people have got to get away from the genocide. Guys, there's no reason NBA Youngboy should be the #1 rapper in the rap game when all he preaches is genocide amongst black people. Name one song NBA Youngboy has made that was positive to the black community. Minister Farrakhan said something else too that I thought that was very that really held to me, because not only in the Bible does it say that we are gods, but let me ask you a question. You ever notice, I just said it earlier, do you know that sagging backwards is niggas, right? What is dog backwards? Scott, God backwards is dog. God backwards is dog. What's the #1 thing most black folks say to one another, especially amongst black men? What is the #1 thing that black men all the time be saying? Yo, what up, dog? Yo, what up, dog? What's good, dog? That's what we always say, right? You don't even know subconsciously that you just greeted another man and said, what's up, fellow God? Because if we sagging, right? If sagging backwards is niggas and we doing that, then by saying, hey, yo, what's good, dog? You say, what's up, fellow God? Because dog backwards is God. When you say, what's up, dog? You not even disrespected. You know there's no black men ever get offended when another black man call another black man dog. Because dog backwards is God. So you just went ahead and say, yo, what's up, fellow God? Hello, God. Hey, what's up, my fellow God? That sounds crazy, doesn't it? But that's the power we have. Yo, it's a lot of white folks out here that see the power that we have better than we do. That stuff shouldn't be happening. We need to see the same power that they have and apply that, but we won't, because we have been so brainwashed that it is okay to preach the genocide of black folks. And when people come to me and they be like, oh, Nick, you ain't never spoke like this before. I ain't never seen you. You a damn lie. Because if my last Facebook hadn't been hacked, you would see all receipts of me saying that I don't trust nobody in the rap. I don't like none of these rap folks. A young man at me today earlier was like, Nick, man, you have to like at least a few of these young. I might like one or two rap songs today at best, and that's a stretch because it's all preaching genocide on black people. It's talking about raping black women. Tupac said it best. Tupac in one of his songs said, we got a name from a woman, a game from a woman. So why do we rape our women? Why do we hate our women? Why do we take from our women? Why do we mistreat our women? It's time to heal our women, to be real to our women. And the crazy part is that Tupac was talking about black folks, but he be rolling in his grave because there is not a big single civil war. Everyone think that there's a civil war between black people and white people, or black people versus Mexican and white people. That is not the Civil War. The biggest civil war going on right now is black men and black women. You want to know why these single moms be coming out here acting on the videos and stuff? Was because they should have never been put in a position to have to raise a kid by themselves. And the problem is most men, we always want to come out about, well, the woman has to show some accountability. You do too. We do too. As kings and gods, when we don't do the right thing, how do we expect our women to do the right thing? We expect our women to be loyal, but we want to run around. When they do the same thing, we catch fits. That's not how it's supposed to go. We ain't supposed to be fighting with one another. You know what? I'm pretty sure that white men and white women fight with each other all the time. But it seems like we do that a more alarming clip. Black men shouldn't be fighting with black women. Like, come on, man. You know, in the Bible, and I told this to Q earlier, and when I was at work today and I started learning all this and I heard all this and I read the Bible verse, and it was like it's like getting all the colors together on the Rubik's Cube, and it's all starting to come together, right? You know, in the Bible, it says that when two or more are gathered, I am in the midst. When two or more are gathered, I am in the midst, right? In the same said thing, one of the biggest preached things in the church is fellowship. Especially men fellowshipping with other men and women fellowshipping with other women. Why is that? Because especially us black men. See, the problem is, I bet you I just said that right now, and a whole bunch of people thought something gay, like they thought of something very gay or something. And you gotta get past all that crap. Okay, you gotta get past that crap. Because when you get, okay, so let me put it to you like this. I'm gonna put two to two together. If the Bible in Psalm says that I said ye were all gods, and then in the same said breath, it says that when two or more are gathered, I'm in the midst. In the same breath, the church always talks about it's important for men to fellowship with other men. Why is that? Because when gods fellowship with other gods, something powerful happens. If the Bible says that we are all gods, right? It says that we are all gods. And then it says that black men are the first people on this earth. So black men, first people on this earth, we are gods. If a bunch of gods are all in together and the one God that speaks through us is in the midst, powerful things happen. Powerful stuff happens, y'all. Powerful things happen. That's why when you hear people like Dr. Umar, you hear some of these guys talking about why they demasculating the black man and why the black household ain't as strong anymore. Easily. Because when a black king and a black queen are together, and man, you can't stop them, man. When a black king and a black queen are together and they on the same page, you can't stop them. They're unstoppable. Charles Manson, one of the most racist people in the world. Charles Manson went on national TV and said that everyone thinks that black people are just a bunch of people from the jungle. He said, but you know what the crazy part is? Black people aren't stupid. They're not monkeys. They're not none of that stuff. They're actually the smartest people in the world. Charles Manson, the most racist man and one of the most racist men in the world, came out and said that black people are the smartest people in the world. How can the most racist man in the world see that, but we as black folks don't? But whenever a brother like me steps up, the thing is, and I'm kind of going on a tangent here, but the thing is that we as black people, we always want the message when it's delivered to us in a way that makes us feel uncomfortable. Well, guess what? In the church any church that will challenge you does not make you comfortable. God does not make you comfortable. That's why, man, I can't believe I'm saying all this, dude. Like, all this stuff's coming to me. It's all making sense. In the church, they don't like you to be comfortable. They say if you're comfortable, you stagnant. And those that are lukewarm with God, because if you're cold with God, then he can get you to hot. If you're hot with God, they can keep you hot. But if you're lukewarm, he'll chew you up and spit you out. You know what I'm saying? He don't want you to be lazy. You can't be lazy. You can't be stagnant. He don't want none of that stuff. Because God didn't put us on this earth to just live life and leave. That's the biggest misconception. Everyone thinks, we just supposed to live life and then just leave. Nah, put your mark on this earth. That's the one thing I said when I was down here in Texas. I was like, man, I know I'm going to be moving back home soon, but I was like, I ain't felt like I ain't made my mark in Texas. Do you know that the minute I made that remark, from that point on to this point now, I've made more than an impact than I thought. And a lot of this stuff I'm telling you right now, off the top of my dome, I'm spitting this stuff. I didn't have no prepared speech. I'm just spitting this stuff off the top of my head because I think this is important. I would rather speak and do what I can. See, think about it. You guys know me best. You guys know that I'm obnoxiously loud. As a matter of fact, I'm doing this in my car because I don't want to be obnoxiously loud in the house because I know my daughter is either sleeping or she's resting. I don't want to bother her, but I'm obnoxiously loud. And I'm okay with admitting that. Because if you know me best, what's the one line I always speak to everybody? What's the one line I always tell you guys? I always tell you guys, God gave me the voice to move trees. One of my favorite pastors growing up, I have to go all the way back to when I was in Divine Shepherd Lutheran Church. His name was Pastor Cook. And Pastor Cook had a voice so strong that he could fill the entire Divine Shepherd Lutheran Church with his voice and never needed a microphone. But do you know that when I was in church at times, and even when I did shows at Bolingbrook Community Television, they had to put me all the way down. Or they would have to put me at 2. I had the microphone on, but they couldn't put me up because my voice projected. I wasn't a soft talker. When I speak with emphasis. You know, I like to reiterate my point. I like to bring it out. That's why sometimes I don't like fighting and talking on Facebook, because how I want to explain it to you, when you read it, if you can read it like how I would say it, then you can understand where I'm coming from. If you don't know me and you've never heard me talk, and we've never had a conversation, when I speak, you're just reading it and you're not reading how I would explain it, so you don't understand it. So you come back and forth. So then I have to now come and do a video to really explain myself, and it all makes sense. And that's why I don't like typing. That's why one of the things I've always said, that I can speak, but I'm not a good typer. In this game, the way the game is now, they always want you to be a big typer. You know, you got to learn how to type and blah, 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 and this and that. And I'm telling you, this BS, you got to know how to speak. A lot of people don't read nowadays, but a lot of people will listen. That's why it's important that you know what you're listening to and who you're listening to. But nonetheless, back to where I'm going with this, is that I need us as black people to understand how important it is that we are all gods. I never said you had to go into the church. I never said any of that. But we are more than just rappers out here killing each other. We're more than just niggas in most people's eyes. When we talk about Black Lives Matter, we need to talk about Black Lives Matter amongst the community, amongst us. See, the problem is, we as black people, we want everybody else to help us. You know, we want the government to help us. And you know, I don't trust him MS for as far as I can throw him. But we want the government to help us. We want the grant for this, and we need the grant for that. My point to y'all is that if you sorry, I just got distracted, but oh my goodness, I just forgot what my point was. I'm sorry, I got distracted hard, but I'll get back to where I'm going. I'm so sorry. You guys know I can't do two things at once, but I'm saying though, man. Oh, that's what I'm saying, man. Black folks, we more than just niggas, man. We gotta make sure that Black Lives Matter. We gotta go back and take what's ours. That's where I was going at. We trying to defend on the government. We trying to not defend, but depend on the government. We trying to depend on this and that and everything else. But the thing is and I can't believe I'm gonna say this, but I feel like they know that they can screw us as black people in the system. We need to screw the system and go out and take what's ours, because we strong, we powerful enough to do that. I mean, think about it. Yeah, there's been some instances, especially as of late, of you know, some racist people out there killing black folks. But the only reason why them racist white folks is killing black people, especially, what about the gentleman in Buffalo that killed all them black folks? What did he say? He said the reason why I killed all them black people was because they becoming the dominant race and I'm here to protect the whiteness. Bro, they out here killing us just because they scared that we are multiplying out here. Do you not know how powerful that is? Like, everyone got on Kyrie. Bro, here's the crazy thing about Kyrie. Kyrie stood on his principles that he wasn't going to get vaccinated. And he stood on those principles so hard that between the Brooklyn Nets, the NBA, and the state of New York, they had to turn and twist all their COVID laws to allow Kyrie Irving to play in the NBA. Do you not know how powerful that is? You know, and that's why I have a hard time. You know, I get offended with people like Shaq, because Shaq's a hypocrite. Same guy comes out and says, you know, oh, Kyrie's an idiot. Why are we talking about this idiot? But the same movie you called him an idiot for retweeting, you showed at a theater that you are part ownership of back in New Jersey some time ago. So you showed the movie. So how you gonna show the movie and you gonna call this man an idiot? Like, very hypocritical. So that's what I'm saying, man. Like, we fighting each other out here. But I feel like the problem is the information that we're getting now, we as black people are not going to accept that first, because we're too stagnant. The same thing that God doesn't want us to be, we are. We're too in the norm. What's the word I'm looking for? We're too predictable. You know, we're too comfortable in our settings. You know, that's our routine. That's where we're too routine about it. Well, I know I listen to rap music, blah, 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 and it didn't do nothing to me. Right, but it might do something to that kid, though. the best time to manipulate a child is when it's young, because they hold on to all the information like a sponge. And as we get older, you start to decipher what's true and what's not. But you can't do that until you get older, because when you're young, you don't know no better. You fresh in the world. That's why our homes have to stop being fatherless black people. Bro, look, think about it like this. Black folks take more energy hating on one another, but then when you want to use some of that energy to be positive to one another, everyone looks at you like you're an idiot. And I can't stand it. Like, where do we go wrong on that? And this is why I make this video, and I'm finna finish up here, and I'm glad we was able to rap for a little bit. But I really want to get back, because I've gone a lot of places here. But I guess at the end of the day, what I'm trying to prove and trying to say to everybody is that, especially to my fellow black folks, is, man, we got to wake up, man. And I'm not talking about being woke. Okay, there's a big difference between being woke. But I guess when I'm saying that we need to wake up, is what I'm saying is there needs to be no, like forget all the, it's just a conspiracy theory. We're past all that at this point. Because there's things that's going on in our world that doesn't make sense. And at some point it has to be addressed. And we have to address it. And black folks have to get out that shell. You know what I'm saying? We have to get out that shell, because I'm letting you know right now that there wasn't black folks that just woke up one morning and just said, you know what? This black power movement is boring, so I just rather just go out here and talk about killing everybody. We was talking about it at work earlier, like where did all the gangster rap start? Well, it more or less started with groups like NWA. But at the same time, like I said earlier, when you watch all of the rap documentaries, why is there always the one Jewish guy that always signs these guys to a deal? In every rap movie that damn near exists, they always have the one white Jewish guy that signs us to that stuff, man. We're not out here preaching to kill one another by our own doing. It's being pushed onto us. And that's a lot what Ye said. But again, because America is so in the moment with everything, we just bashed him because we thought he was anti-Semitic. But everyone, it's like eating a steak and being mad that the broccoli didn't taste great, but the rest of the meal was okay. You guys are upset because the man said DEFCON 3 to the Jews, but no one wanted to explain where he's right, where they can come out and say, I could beat this bitch or I can kill this nigga, excuse my language, and make millions and billions of dollars off of it. But I bet you if I made a song like, yo, put the guns down, let's stop killing each other because I'm tired of seeing the tears of another young mother, I can't, all of a sudden I gotta take that record off the shelf because it's too positive for the people and don't nobody, come on, man, like, guys, we gotta wake up, man. As gods, we have to wake up. If the Bible claims that we are gods, and if I just mentioned that the Bible also states that we are not to be stagnant, then guys like Ye and guys like Kyrie and some of these other people like Dr. Umar and some of these other people that preach until they are blue in the face about the empowerment of black people and how we need to get, do better with black folks, and how black folks, we together have got to come together, because that's another thing I take offense to, because no one has yet to give me a song or more than 4 bars of a Kanye West, of anything that come out of the mouth of Kanye West that is detrimental to black people. You upset because he went out there and said that Harriet Tubman really didn't free the slaves. They just took them from one slave master to another. Yeah, okay, that might have been out of pocket. That may not have been necessarily true per se. But again, you upset with the broccoli of a steak meal. Anyone that's calling Kyrie anti-Semitic or calling Ye anti-Semitic are mad at the broccoli of a steak meal. Because we're not focused on the main message. We just focused on the piece of it. You didn't say, oh, the steak was great. You was all, man, the broccoli nasty. No one's saying, man, Ye right. How come they are profiting making billions off of black folks preaching genocide to one another, when they gonna stop? People like like, where's this coming from? And then when we say, oh, it's the media, it's oh, you can't say that. That's another thing too. How can Family Guy and all these movies profit off of us being slaves and everything, drug dealers and slaves and everything else in the world? One mere mention of the Jewish media and everyone shutting us down. So where is it wrong? Because you didn't like the way it was brought? Well, it was brought to you normal before, and we didn't listen to it. So I'm just saying, man, like my attitude today really changed, and I want to just really speak on this because first off, I don't want people to think that because I've become super pro-black that I'm anti-white. It's never that. I have plenty of white friends. I have plenty of white friends that are sick and tired of the nonsense too. They don't want to see their black friends out here being discriminated, shot against, racist against, or any of that stuff. But those white people that I mentioned of can't start the revolution because it won't hold weight. White people can't come out and be like, we're tired of blacks killing blacks too. Or, we're tired of blacks killing blacks, because they're going to be looked down upon. However, if we started the revolution and if we woke up and when we march, they going to come with. And what a lot of people don't understand is those white folks that's willing to stand with us, we need that backing. No matter what anyone tries to tell you, we need that backing. We need that support. Because sometimes when black folks tell white people something, they won't listen. But when white people turn around and tell white people the same exact thing the black person said, okay, hold on, maybe they right. It's sad, it's unfortunate, but that's just the way life is. So that's what I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to say, us as black people, look, we got to stop killing one another. You know what I'm saying? We got to stop shooting each other. We always wait for these tragedies for the GDs and the Vice Lords and the Crips and the Bloods and, all these black gangs are out here shooting each other for money and for turf, and for the gangs back in the day used to be about protecting the community from outsiders. It wasn't about killing the people in the community. Gangs like the Black P. Stones and the Gangsters Disciples and all of those guys were not originally criminal organizations. It's what they come out to be because somewhere the Brotherhood became a gang criminal empire. Somewhere down the line, somewhere somebody got greedy and the whole game flipped. But if you do your research and you really realize where a lot of these gangs have been coming from or why they was formed, a lot of these gangs were formed to protect the community, the wrongdoings and the injustices and everything that happens in our community. That's what they was there for. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm saying, man, like, I hate the fact that every time we wake up, a new rapper or a new young black man has been shot. Gods aren't supposed to kill other gods in no way, shape, or form. If the black people, if us as black people are the first people on this earth, and God, Jesus is a black man and he wrote that Bible, and in the Bible it says, and I said, anywhere in the Bible where it says I said, that means God spoke unto us. God spoke unto us and said, ye are all gods, and yet we are going to die mortals. So basically what he was telling all the black folks in the world was, I'm the man but you guys are going to represent me. That's why when I step out of my house, as long as my Father draws breath on this earth, I am a representation of my Father. When I do bad things, it makes him look bad. Okay? When I do, one of the great things that my girlfriend always says to me, she says, you were raised by good parents. One thing that I've always been told, even when I mess up in school, they always say, Nick, I love your parents. They always say that. Everybody that runs into my mom and dad love my parents. Do you want to know why that is? Because the God that was my father and the black queen that was my mother are both within me. So when I come out with the personality and I know my hair's a little messed up and my beard's a little loud, and I'm going to take care of that soon. But when I come out clean and I speak with not with a sharp tongue sometimes, but I try to come out and I speak to the people with class and they see me and they're like, man, I'm talking to a God right now. I'm not talking to just a man. This man is saying some things. Like when I talk at work, a lot of times when me and Q talk, everybody listens when we talk. It's 3 black men back there on that line. It's me, Q, and Walt. When the 3 of us are back there on black empowerment and when we talk about ways that we can make the game so much better for black people, the entire restaurant listens. They don't see it. They all stand around and they listen until they are forced to move because they are in the presence of God's speaking. And until we realize that, that's why I have such a hard time with LeBron James. LeBron James is such an in-the-moment ass person. If LeBron had the balls like Ye and come out and speak against this man who comes out and says, Ye is anti-Semitic, is the same LeBron James that not only has one of them Jewish tattoos tattooed all over his chest, it's the same man who was seen with a convicted Jewish rabbi years ago. Come on, LeBron, man. You're supposed to be a king for us and your family. Yes, they may rag you on the basketball court, but there is not a single black man on this earth that can rag you as a dad and a father to Bronny and your other kids. That's the LeBron James I want to see. I want to see that family guy. I don't care about what he does on the court. And I still think no matter how bad he's shooting right now, LeBron James is still the best physical specimen in the NBA and probably the best player. Man, I wouldn't go that far, but he's the best physical specimen in the NBA, period. Man been in the league for 20 plus years. Now could have been that time for King James. There is a reason we call you King James. It is not just a title that was given to you by a bunch of people in the media. That should have been a title for us to use you and to see you as somebody outside of the basketball court. Some of Kobe's favorite or best moments of most people is stuff he did outside of the court. Kobe was a king outside of the court. A person like LeBron James needs to be that king outside of the court. Kyrie's doing it. Ye's doing it. Why? Because we are God's people. The people hang on all the words we say. That's why they killed Martin Luther King Jr. That's why they killed Malcolm X. Because when they speak and the truth comes out, they know the people will listen. And they can't let you get too deep to realize, because Malcolm X called out the same Jewish media like Ye did. Well, because They kind of took out Malcolm X and they canceled Ye. But yet Family Guy can make fun of us as slaves and everyone laughs at it. So you guys can go out there and buy millions of dollars worth of records of let me pull the Draco on your mama. Basically, let me put this fool 6 feet deep in the ground and we're going to pass your girl all around, you know, so you didn't kill the man and raped his girlfriend. We okay with that. But when Ye says, man, this media is pushing a narrative against black folks, he's anti-Semitic. And that's the exact point. So guys, man, black people, man, I'm not saying you need to wake up and put on your African colors, put on the hat and go, I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, and I'm biggity black. You ain't got to do all that. What I'm saying is, if we can get 1,000 people to just stop feeding in to the hip hop jail culture that's not black culture. Let's go ahead and do that. Black culture is not hip hop street jail culture. It's not. It's not in the slightest. Because I don't represent the streets, I don't represent jail, and I don't represent the hip hop culture. So that's a whole nother story that you need to talk to somebody else on them about. But I'm telling you right now, I've been working for the last 9 hours. And it was like I know I took a Zoa and they usually wear off, but yo, I got so much energy because I just learned as a God, according to the Bible, I just learned some things and it's got me excited because this is a brand new, I ain't know. Because what I was taught to what I've learned now is 2 totally different things. So that's why I be saying, man, that's why I'm saying. It's very important. It is very important that, we have to set a better example for our kids. We as gods have to, we can't, see, here's the thing. We can't instill in the kids yet that they are gods. We got to let the kids be kids. That's why I'm very animated about letting the kids be kids. All this pushing of these kids trying to figure out who they are. How about they figure out just being kids? Is that okay? Let's let the kids be the kids. So as gods, especially black men, we aren't just gods, guys. We're kings and gods. When it comes to the household, we have to be the kings. There should be no scenario unless you are dead and gone that the black woman should continue to have to be king and queen. She should only be queen. You should only be the king. That's the only way it should go. You know what I'm saying? So we need to let these kids be the kids, but we have to instill those principles. And then when it is time to finally instill those principles and allow and unleash that godliness in them, you would know. That's your kid. You would know when it's ready to unleash that godliness and let them know, like, son, you've done some great things on this earth, but now I'm going to challenge you because you're a God and I expect more now from you as a God. And I'm going to unlock some things that's going to get you to a whole nother level. I'm going to unlock some things in your mind and I'm going to expose you some things that only a God can understand. I give you a prime example. You know who I acted like today when I read all this stuff? Atreus from God of War. Remember if you played the game, and by now you should have, so if I'm spoiling it for you, it's your own personal fault. In the game, when Kratos and Atreus are working, all Atreus knows is that he's the son of Kratos. That's all you know. Kratos is his dad, and his mom died. That's all he knows. But now, when Atreus learned he was a god, he walked that game fearless and unstoppable. See, but that was the thing. But that goes to my other point. Because, see, Kratos told Atreus too soon. So you follow me on this, okay? So Kratos knew Atreus was a god, but wanted to wait till the right time for him to understand it because he was too young to understand and hone what's going on. But what's his name knew. Guess what? Black men, when your black sons are being born in this world, you know damn well that is a future god that just came out of that queen's womb. And it is now your job to protect that god at all cost. At all costs. Because it's going to be a lot of things that's going to be thrown at this god as a young man. And as the elder god and as the protector, you have to protect him because God brought that king on earth because he had something instilled in him. And it was your job to make sure he made it to that point. And that's why we have to stop abandoning our kids because these mamas out here, and it's no disrespect to none of the mamas, but there's not a mom that can teach a king how to be a king. Moms cannot teach men how to be men. A god, a king, a man can. They can instill the principles how to do it, but a woman cannot teach a man how to be a man because they can instill the principles. Any man that has learned to grow on how to be a man is because he subconsciously learned it from other examples while his mama gave him the principles. So see, the kid didn't even know. Growing up, all he knew was him and his mama. But I bet you he had crossed a boss. He crossed, and I don't mean like what women call themselves. I'm talking about like a boss at a company, a CEO at a company, a black CEO. Could have been just a black man on the street. Look, it's some guys that are down on their luck. Even the homeless men on the street, the black homeless men on the street, they are gods too. They just need help to tap in their potential. Their potential is not for them to be out on the streets. There should be nobody homeless, but it's what I'm talking about is just black men specifically should not be out on them streets struggling. We either need to help out that brother or we need to let that brother tap into the godliness because it's never too late. In that same psalm, it said, yes, we are going to die like humans, but on earth you are gods. We will die like humans, but on earth we gonna be gods. So when I go back to Atreus, think about it. Kratos knew, Atreus didn't know. But when Atreus found out, and then Kratos had no choice but to tell him, Atreus' head got so big because he didn't want to live life like a mortal anymore. He wanted to go out. He said so many times with his dad, he said, we are gods. While Kratos was still out there being humble for everything that he did, Atreus was opened up to a brand new world. As a god, he walked this earth as a mortal, but he opened the eyes as a god. And that's why we, in this age, any man between the ages of 28 and I would say at least 42, from 28 on, anyone from 28 on, we have got to instill on these kids, like we have to protect these kids, because what happens is, see, and again, I'm not disrespecting the mamas. I'm not. I think there are some really good look, I'm dating a single mom. Georgette's a great mom to both her kids. A great mom to both her kids. But she got daughters. But if she had a son, she could instill some good principles in him. Like, hey, son, this is how you got to be. This is how you. But in order to redefine all that, yo, man, you got to find some manly examples out there. And that's why it's important as black men. First, whenever you going to squabble with another black man, instead of always wanting to go out and fight, talk with one another. Again, what does it say in the Bible? When two or more are gathered together, I'm in the midst. So when two gods are speaking together about an injustice, God's there as the mediator. That's why they say never fight with your fellow black man. That's why it's so disturbing of all these black folks out here killing one another. Because when you know that you're a God and you know that you're all in that car together, God is in the midst of y'all. So when you go out there and you kill them folks, God is now upset with you, because why would one God kill another God? Where did the Most High, the one God who came and gave us the vessel so we can speak through him, say it was okay to go out there and kill your fellow brother? Tell me where it says that. I know it don't, but since we like to argue, tell me where it says that. I know it don't. So I'm saying, man, like, look, man, look, I love the Bible, and I'm gonna tell you what. People say man wrote it, this and everything. Of course man wrote it. They had to write it so we can understand it. So stop that stuff. Man wrote the Bible. Who else gonna write English in pages, chief? It's how the game goes. Nonetheless, though, the Bible has so much stuff in there. And if you can, and what I would say, I would do two things. First, if there's a word you have and there's some questions you have, man, there are so many mentors and pastors out here that will lead you in the right direction and let you know. But number two, when you read this stuff, sometimes you have to really read into it. Don't just take it for face value. You got to really read deep into it. Read the whole verse. Because in that verse it says, where is it okay? Did I say it was okay for you guys to be okay with the wickedness and stuff? When did I say it was okay to be okay with some of this foolery? Like that Kyle Rittenhouse thing situation. Everyone was saying, oh, it was great. He killed those people and this, that, and everything else. Where in the Bible did it say it was okay for him to go out there and kill them folks? It didn't. When you're doing a drive-by shooting, where does it say that it was okay when you and your crew out there finna go roll up on a homie or something? You tell me where it was okay when you go roll up on a homie or something. It says to kill your fellow brother. In the 10 Commandments, it says thou shalt not kill. The number one thing that rap talks about is killing folks. It's crazy, man. You know, and everyone got every argument about the Bible, this, that, everything else, blah, 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 woo, woo, everything else. But a lot of things that's said in that is coming true. And that's why people tell black folks, you got to wake up. It's not just about, you know, being woke and, again, you know, the biggity black stuff. It's not about that. It's just trying to wake you up from the routine, because it's a lot of stuff that's going on in this world. It's a lot of things that's going on amongst black folks. And what I don't want is where we could have been. There's a black guy right now that could have been Jeff Bezos or Jeff Bezos. There is a black guy right now that could have been Jeff Bezos. But because we so stuck in the norm and everything, it was too late for us to untap it. So I feel like Jeff Bezos per se has that's our fortune. That Amazon idea, man, that should have been an us idea. I'm letting you know right now. I can tell you that right now. That Amazon idea, that should have been an us idea. I bet you it would have been. But you know how hard it is to get loans and stuff out here nowadays, especially as a young black man. So I'm pretty sure Jeff Bezos beat somebody to the punch. And he jumped on it and we didn't. So I'm just saying, man, I'm just trying to speak from like one, now that I know at 39, now that I know where I need to stand in my life, like I'm finna come into my house right now. I'm gonna go into my house right now and I'm just gonna straight up, like, I'm gonna listen to some sermons real quick. I do need to go to bed because I gotta be up early in the morning, but you know, I'm gonna listen to some stuff, man, and I just want to be tapped in, because now that I see that, now that I understand the text, now that I realize that statement isn't as blasphemous. See, I said I am a God. I never said I am God. See, if I said I am God, that makes me blasphemous, and that's a game that I don't play. When I said that I am a God, basically what that means is I am a vessel to the one most high. That A makes a big difference. That A changes the whole structure of the sentence. Because I am means that you it. I am a means that you're a vessel of. And that's important, man. And it's a lot of black folks, rappers, athletes, kids. You could just be a guy who works 9 to 5 at a factory warehouse and go home and take care of his family. You're just an average Joe. But we all, as black people, are gods. We just, as this generation, have to protect the kids until it is time, because the problem is, it's too many kids realizing that they're a God and they don't know how to handle it. That's why these kids are out here killing one another. Because when you give a God money that he has never seen in his life or understand what the value is, because they have been brought up in conditions that have been so bad that even the mere thought of having $1,000 would uplift a man. Bro, man, like, it's so many black folks out here that have so much potential, man, and it's just we cut them off too quick because, again, you know, we call our kids, we say, yeah, this my king, this my king, this my king. He still has to learn how to be a prince first. You gotta let that child be a prince. He's not ready for the king stuff yet. These kids out here, you know, flexing and doing all their stuff. Yeah, they know that they probably don't even know that they're a guy, because I can see the potential in them when I see them, but they don't know that because somebody has stood in between the potential of God and the man himself and has perverted the whole thing. And we looked at the perversion, but never looked at God behind them. We put the hat on our head. We got the hat on our head and the shield in our eyes, and all we see is the perversion. But we don't see the promise. We see the perversion, but we don't see the promise, man. Come on now. Black gods, let's go, man. We see the perversion. We see the man who's coming out saying, I want you to preach black genocide to your peoples, and then because we got them brainwashed, they gonna buy. But we don't see the promise behind them. Like, yo, young man, young God, young king, you're better than out here rapping about Dracos and Molly and Percocets and killing folks and whips and cars and all that other stuff. You are much more meant for that. I have something better on this world for you. So I need you to look past the perversion, and I promise you, it may not look great right now, but I'm letting you know that there are riches, and I'm talking about just not in heaven. I'm gonna bless you a little bit on this earth, because I'm not just gonna have you struggling on this earth. That's another thing that some of these churches pervert. Like, they want to like speak against, you know, people trying to grab their money and whatnot. And remember, the line is not money is the root of all evil. It's the love of money is the root of all evil. Because, and you're seeing that, you know, you're seeing a lot of black folks out here, they killing other black people for the money. That's the love of the money. They love the money more than they love their own brother. And that's a sin according to the Bible. If you out there, you shot a man over drugs, over turf, and you killed a man over that, you chose money over the brother. And according to the Bible, that's a sin. But nowhere in the Bible does it say you don't deserve to live the lavish life, or you don't deserve to splurge every once in a while. But it does talk about greed. It talks about greed. A lot of rich folks are greedy. They greedy. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm going all over the place with this. I got a lot to say, but I'm saying, and I've been talking for an hour now. I hope you guys watch a lot of the video, some of the video, maybe a little bit of the video, but this is how I feel. And, you know, learning this today, like I said, I went through a whole 9-hour shift, And yo, not one time that I complained it was busy. I knew it was busy. I knew it was getting rocked. Wakanda Forever is out. Everybody and their mom's out here trying to watch and watch the movie. I knew it was going to be busy. I never complained. Why? Because when I realized my true potential and my true power and what I could really do, man, stop it, man. That's why a lot of times, like, whenever I need, like, if I'm behind on something and I need to talk to somebody, I always know how to talk to people to give me some extra time on stuff. Because as a God, I know how to speak. God gave me the voice to speak. And that's why I want to make this video. Because now that I learned this, I felt like if I came home and didn't share this stuff with you and then tomorrow came, it won't hold the same juice. And I feel like I would have been punished because God wants me to speak this. I need to speak this amongst my peoples. If they're willing to listen, if they're willing to just be like, oh, not just look at me as another average guy. Look at me as a guy that really wants our people to really be empowered. I'm the guy that's seeing, I'm the guy who wants, I mean, remember, I used to do nothing but holler at white girls. And I can tell where white girls, bro, white girls flock to black men not only because they attracted to black men, they flock to us because we hold that God gene. We hold that God gene kind of hard, bro. And they come to us. That's like white men who date black women. There's a lot of people they don't co-sign on that. But see, my thing is that white man right there saw him a goddess over there and said, you know what? I'ma find out. And kudos to him. The white woman that go out there and find her the brother, she see the God in that man. She says, I want to find out. I'm just saying, man, you know, I see it. I see it. I see it all the time. I see it. And I'm telling you, man, it's white folks. They done with the stuff, man. So black people, we're gods. I didn't say we're God. I said we are gods. There's a difference. That S makes it different. We are the vessels. We are the examples. That's why it says to defend the poor and the fatherless. But we as black people have to stop leaving our kids fatherless. Because our kids need the protector, they need the God, they need the king. And if the woman you with, you don't feel is the goddess for your kids, then you need to find another one. You need to find another one. Because the queen, look at it like this. The queen usually follows the lead of the king. But the reason why the queen is so important is because when the king is sometimes in battle or when the king sometimes need that other voice, the queen. Remember, the queen usually doesn't get her hands dirty. She's allowed to sit back and observe. And when she sits back and observes, she's going to see some things that her king's not seeing because he's focused on other things. So when the queen comes and speaks, 9 times out of 10, the king listens. And that's why we have to stop leaving these single parents. We got to stop leaving these single mamas. Because the mama wasn't meant to fight and observe. She wasn't meant to fight and observe. She was meant to observe for the king, and she was there to help, to be able to raise the kids. And as men, we supposed to, as kings, as black men, as black protectors, and as black gods for our children, we supposed to help out the queen, raise the kids, we instill the principles, and we protect the house. That's what we supposed to do. So instead of us being out here, see, these baby mamas only acting out the way they do because they have never been in a position where where they was protected by God. So when they out here and you see all these mamas being you see all these baby mamas out here being all whatever it is. I'm hearing voices, that's why I'm tripping. When you see them out here acting out and everything, the reason why they do that is because they haven't been led in the right direction, man. It's like, okay, they had a baby. And then it's just like, they doing this, they doing that, they on TV trying to find a dad, they on this, they on blah, blah, blah. Come on, man. We just got to be better. We really got to be better. We got to protect the household. Gods are not supposed to abandon their kids. So if we are gods, we're not supposed to abandon our kids. So if we make kids, we got to take care of them. We got to instill the principles. So again, to all the black gods, the black dads, the black gods, it's just dads in general. I mean, yeah, there are hardworking dads out there, but I'm speaking to my people, to the black dads out there that's holding it down and doing their thing, and I have one. Kudos. Because now that I realize what my true potential is, I'm ready to come back home and spread as much message as I can. That's why I felt like I was brought down here to Texas to step out of the normal routine that I had in Illinois and come here and let me introduce you to some, because you ain't been tapping into your potential. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you a queen. I'm going to give you a family. And I'm going to move you out of state. And it's not going to be easy. It's going to be tough. But because you're a God, and I know you have the strength to get through it, and you will not, and it's going to be days you break down, but when you break down, you get back up. That's the one thing my dad taught me when I was a freshman in high school. This girl broke my heart in high school. And instead of letting me sulk, my dad woke me up on a Saturday. I ain't had to go to school and had me clean the basement. He didn't say a single word except for giving me direction on what to clean and where to put. But there was a lesson in that. Because what Dad was telling me was, gods don't sulk. Yes, you're going to have moments where you're going to break down. But once you're done breaking down, you don't stay broken down. You get up. And trust me, I've been struggling. I'm struggling. I want to be better. I've always wanted to be better. And I feel like since my mom's birthday came along, I really feel like my eyes have really been open to some things. And like today, it was like my mind was just open to a new world, because now that I have a brand new and different mindset, I've always said that I wanted to be a better man for my girlfriend and potentially my future wife. And I want to be a better dad, and I want to be a better mentor to my daughter. And all this stuff is important. And I felt like I was failing because I didn't get it. Because I wasn't tapping into my potential. It's a few times Georgette has come to me and said, hey, why don't you do this or why don't you do that? But because I'm so comfortable and in the norm and everything, and sometimes it's fear. I'd be like, nah, I don't think I don't think. But then shout out to the big homie Los, because Los came to me and was like, yo, man, when you come back home, come see me, though. My dad got on, he basically offered me a job. He said, hey, I got you. Said, come drive with me, man. I get you $300 a day. Come drive with me. And do you know why I'm like inclined to really like accept that offer? Because a young God saw another God in trouble. And not only did he help me out, but he said, hey man, I got something even better for you when you come back home. So that you could be the better man and the better dad and the better person for your family. I would be a fool to not accept the offer that another fellow black guy who I consider in my circle would come out and do. So I can't deny that. You know what I'm saying? That's at this point almost would feel like it would be an insult to the God Los. It would be an insult to the God Los and to what the biblical principles are saying when one God helps out another one. Bro, not only did I say thank you, I'm eternally grateful, so much so that I went ahead and reached out to Los and said, what do I need to do in order to jumpstart this opportunity? Because one God came to another God, and because I, as a God, I could be humble when needed to. This man came and out of the kindness of his heart said, hey, my fellow brother, you've always been a great person to me. And even as a man who's 39 years old, I need direction too sometimes. I need my fellow guys to put me in check. Even if it's a young G. Even if a young G sees me slipping, I want him to be like, yeah, yo, OG, man, hold on a second, man. This ain't the principles we was taught. You can clown me. I don't have that big of a head to be like, oh man, you young, you don't know nothing. Sometimes them young cats probably done went through something that I didn't. And they might see something that I don't. But I'm telling you, man, we so much better. We're so much better, man. And I'm telling you, like I said, now that I know what I know, I just ain't gonna be the same. I ain't gonna be the same person. And I'm going to come in here and rest. Like I said, I told y'all that 20 minutes ago, but I'm going to come in here and rest. And I'm going to post this video. And I'm going to watch some more empowerment videos and, knowledge videos. Until I have to sleep. And then, I got to be to work in the morning. But some powerful stuff. And I'm actually pretty happy that I've been tapping into my black roots. I've realized a lot of things. And two, I'm glad I found and able to talk to somebody that's a lot like-minded with a lot of stuff that's going on. And not calling me a fool and all this stuff because, y'all love, ABC and XYZ and Elemental P so flipping much that, if I speak out against them, you'll call me every name in the book but the one mom and dad gave me. So, just at the end of the day, man, we as black people got to be better. We got to protect the queens. It says, where, like what's the old saying? Somehow, basically the gist of it is if you give a woman a slice of bread, she can somehow turn that into a meal, or if you give her a fish, she could somehow turn into a meal. I don't know, it's something crazy, but basically what the gist of the whole thing that's being said is simply put, at the end of the day, women make things better. No matter what people try to tell you, man, I'm not saying that men can't do great things. I'm just saying women sometimes tend to make things a little bit better. They do. They do. Shoot, that's just the fact. That's why, when my dad moved to Indiana, so ultimately it was my mom, my niece, and my sister. And even right now, it's Georgette and Kaya, and whenever Autumn comes in every once in a while. Yo, I'm a girl dad no matter how you try to put it. I've been pretty much raised around females for the most part. But you know what, too, though? After all that, dad was still in my life. The king, the God was still in my life. Even my dad just recently in March turned 65, if I'm not mistaken. At 65, I take it back. Wait a minute, I take that all the way back. Is my dad? Yeah, I think my dad's 65. But nonetheless, though, he still gives me advice. He still instills on me. You know, just because he's older, you know, dad still knows things. The gods still know. The man that I look up to as my OG, as my God, as my direct line, as to, you know, like I said, when two or more people are gathered, I'm in the midst. So when I talk to my God, when I talk to my OG, the guy, the man, the only man bound by blood that's still alive that I look up to, which is my father, that has been that way since the beginning of time, he still gives me advice. When I talk to him on the phone, when I go see my dad, I always turn my phone off. Every time I went to go see my dad, I always turned my phone off until I knew I was going to leave like 10 minutes beforehand. And the reason why is because when my dad spoke, I wanted to listen. I didn't want anything to distract me because I hung on to every word he said. Because when my dad spoke, I used to believe that was God talking through my dad talking to me. That's why it's important to have the black kings in the household, the black gods in the household, to instill in these young men and women. And yes, young G's are going to mess up, but by breaking their PlayStations and whooping them on TV and doing all this clout for the internet is not the way to go. We're better than that. There are more ways you could punish a kid. When I did bad in my grades, my parents took away my system. They took it away. They didn't break it. They didn't smash it. They didn't do all this crap these parents doing out there. And that's another thing. I don't know where these dads got this idea that just smashing the stuff you bought is the way to go. You make yourself look stupid. That's not how gods act. God didn't put us on earth to spend $500 on an Xbox One and because your Xbox Series XS and because your son messed up, you went out there and ran over it just so you can get clouts and likes and everything on social media. Don't let this social media be the perversion, which it has been. Remember I said there's always going to be the perversion before the promise. While us as black gods have the promise, we can't let the perversion that is social media get us to the promise, because it's exactly what we're doing. And if we keep going down that road, the people that want to kill us and extinct us and make sure that we never tap in to our godly presence and what is meant for us as black gods in this life, they want to take all that away from us. We can't let them. We can't let them do it. We just can't. So like I said, man, we gotta wake up, man. Not on, listen, I don't know woke stuff, but we need to wake up, because it's not okay to support an album of a kid who basically is preaching black genocide because he more or less is being told how to preach that black genocide. He didn't learn that on his own. When people my age wanted to be a rapper, they wanted to be like Snoop and Jay and all that stuff. And I'm not saying that they are much better, but Jay and Snoop and DMX and Nas and all those guys, you know, even though they had beef, they knew how to squash it without needing guns. These young cats are quick to all go out and point and go get guns. Everything's easily accessible now. And again, black kings and gods should not be out here killing one another. We should be out here empowering one another. We should not be scared to tell our fellow brother, hey, you shouldn't do this. Allow me to show you another alternative. And as a black God, if another black God comes to you and instills that principle, accept it. Listen to where he's going. Listen to what he's saying. Don't laugh at the elder gods when they speak to you. Actually listen. Don't think that elder god that is trying to instill something in you is all of a sudden just funny and he goofy and all this. No, he's saying some real stuff. And that what he's doing is he's not preaching to you in a sense because he can. He's preaching to you because as a black God, he sees the potential in you as kids. And he's going to say something. But again, because we are not instilling the principles on what it's like to not disrespect your black elder gods, they're going to keep doing it. And if we do not give the consequences within reason to the same kids that disrespect the elder gods, then we are going to be in trouble. So we have to step our game up. We have to do better by our kids. Black folks are some of the most, if not the most powerful force in the entire freelance world. Most places don't accept where we are, not because of our skin color, because they can't handle and possess the power that we have. In China, I heard there's certain places that as black people you can't go. And you want to know why? It's not because China's racist per se. It's simply because of the fact the Chinese couldn't hold our power. Think about it. China's one of the most populous countries in the world. 3 black guys walk into one bar and they're like, you guys can't be in here. Why? Not because they hate black folks. It's too much power for the Chinese to handle. Think about that. So, why you think they always separated us? They always was on that segregation. You don't want to talk about that? Because they knew if you put 5... You remember the movie Revenge of the Nerds? Remember that movie Revenge of the Nerds? Remember the end of it? If you ain't seen that, you in trouble. Because whatever, that movie been since 1980. That's one of my favorite movies. In the end of that movie, when they was going to punch Gilbert in the face when he went up there and tried to get that microphone, UN Jefferson came out and it was 12 black guys sitting around after he told him to let the kid go. And what did that coach do? That coach let him go. What did those guys up there on that, on that stage? They could have bum rushed them, jumped. I know it's a movie, but think about it. You could have been bum rushed or jumped in anything, and all they could do was sit there and stare, because that's how powerful 12 black men can be when they all are standing in the same spot with one same goal, doing positive things. They could crush an entire stadium. I swear, if you put 50 black people on one stage preaching positivity in a place like the Compaq Center where Joel Osteen has his church, those 50 men will absolutely tear down the foundation, because you put 50 gods to preach on one stage, and I'm just throwing out a random number, but I'm just saying, you put 50 black people, and if what they do has any substance to it, it will go further than you'll ever know, because that's how powerful we are. And that's why we have to tap into our powers. And that's why we have to learn what our godliness really is. And that's why if you're over the age of 21 and you a young black man, you need to go out there and find out what your God is. I shouldn't say that. You need to go out there and find out what your inner God. You need to understand what it's meant to be one. You need to understand what the Bible just said. It didn't say I brought you on this earth to talk about to talk about killing one another and the wickedness in this world. Psalm 82 is everything that's wrong with the rap game. Because think about it. In the rap game, that's all they talk about. Killing folks, raping folks, beating folks up. F that N, F that B. That's all they talk about. In the psalm, it said, I made you a God. So why would you talk about the destruction of people? That's exactly why black people need to wake up and stop with the nonsense. And we need to come together. And this is not just me. This is not just a cliche line. We need to come together. 300 black people would be 300 the movie. The only difference is 300 black people wouldn't be dead at the end. Think about that. 300 black men. You put 300 black men to march. 300 black men you put in the fight, and they have so much power. They would be like 300. The only difference is they don't die at the end. And I'm telling you, that's why that's important. That's why this stuff's important. So, but I'm sorry I took up an hour and a half of your time. I really had to say this because this stuff's been mind-blowing to me. And like I said, I got a brand new perspective on how I'm going to approach the game and everything. And at this point, we'll figure out what tomorrow brings, man. I'm really excited now. I'm excited to see what tomorrow brings. And, hopefully it's just a lot of positivity tomorrow. And we can do some good things tomorrow. But thank you again for letting me talk. And again, black folks, let's come together. Let's stop the fighting and the racism and all the nonsense that comes with it, man. We got to stop it. So, Big Oso signing out, man. Hope you guys like this. I'm putting this on my YouTube page, and I'll share it out and everything. And if you like it, maybe, you can have some of your friends like the page. I'm going to start putting stuff back in. I do want to get back to podcasting, sports-wise, life-wise, all that stuff. So, but I just wanted to share these thoughts with you for a little bit. Leave a comment. You can text me, message me, email me. Y'all got all that stuff. So, check it out and see. All right, guys. Peace.